2016 GMC. Customer complaint is that it doesn't always start. Let's give it a try here. Well, it started that time. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. Got a 2016 GMC Sierra with an intermittent starting problem. This is the 1500 and this has the 5.3 liter V8. I've started it several times and it's starting right now, but the owner has said that it's left him stranded a few times and it wouldn't start, and then he'll try a few more times and then it will. So it sounds like the starter is on its way out. So the owner has decided to have me change out the starter. Battery's been tested, everything's good. These starters are known to go bad. They're positioned right by the exhaust. They get really hot and the heat from the exhaust just destroys these starters, so they don't last very long. So I agree. I said, yeah, no problem. Let's go ahead and change it out. Now, before we do anything or get started on this, we need to disconnect the battery. And I'm just going to disconnect the ground cable down here. Just pull that off and put it somewhere where it can't make contact with the negative terminal. Now, there's a couple ways to get at this starter. I've done these before just by reaching up straight from underneath, but I've noticed quite a few videos where people take off the passenger side wheel and the inner fender liner to gain access to the cables on the starter first. So I'm going to try it that way this time. So let's pull off the wheel first. All right, so with the passenger wheel out of the way, the starter is right through here. So I'm just gonna remove this inner fender liner. It's pretty easy. You just pull off all these T15 Torx screws that hold this in place. Kind of comes out from underneath the seam here on the wheel well. I'm gonna loosen these two here real quick too. And that's a little dusty, but comes right out. All right, so here's our starter right here. Really easy to get to once you take off that inner fender liner. You know, I've done this from below before, but this looks like it's gonna be a little bit easier, especially to get at the electrical connections. And that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna use a 13mm socket to take off the nut right there, holding on the main cable. And I'm just using a 13mm on an impact with an extension. There we go. Pull that cable off and just put it up out of the way over here. Now I'm also going to take out this 10mm bolt that holds the heat shield onto the starter right there. Now the signal wire is underneath this little sleeve right here. So just pull this back just a little bit. Oh, it looks like our little red tab is broken off. Now, upon pulling this down, I noticed that our little red tab that's supposed to be on the side here is missing. That means this is completely broken. It's very common that that happens, but this now might be a little bit of a pain. So I've read a lot of forums about this. This little red connector that's usually right here on the side of that, you're really just sliding it this direction. Not very much. You don't push it in, you don't pull it out. You just slide it back, and then that's supposed to allow us to be able to pull this off, but it's gone. It's broken off. So we're gonna have to get this off another way. All right, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to this, but we're gonna give it a try. It looks like there's some remnants of a broken off piece in here. I just don't know if I can pull that down because the red piece that is supposed to be attached on here is missing. There, I got it. You see that little piece right there that sticks out a little bit? I was able to hook that with this and pull down. There it is. See this little red tab? That is crazy. These are so brittle. Such a bad design. Already broken before we even got to it. And I promise I did not break that and then cover it back up. So see, I can still push this little tab right here. I'm able to push it or depress it, so that should allow us to take this off. We might get lucky and be able to still clip that back onto the new starter, but I might have to get a new connector or replace this. And now we got that disconnected, let's go down underneath and we can take out the starter bolts. All right, so here's our starter right here, and there's just two bolts that hold that in. Those are 13mm. There we go. Just pull those bolts out. Now the starter should just drop right down. Just pull it back a little bit. And just drop it right through here. And it's out. All right, and then we just feed the new starter right back up through this opening here. It looks like it's easier to kind of back it in and then put the nose in through the opening over here. There we go. And these bolts are the same length. Just make sure you get them started first. There we go. Just kind of alternating those as you tighten them. And then our final torque on that is going to be 33 foot-pounds. Then torque these with the gear wrench 85062. Now that it's in, let's go back up top and connect everything and it should be good to go. All right, so even with a broken connector, I'm going to see if this will stay on. So I'm just going to slide it up and see if we get any kind of positive click. Oh, we did. I just felt it click. It wasn't very loud, but I felt it click and clip into place. That's definitely staying on there. That doesn't pull off, so I think we're gonna be okay. Just gonna slide this little heat shield type of protector back on. Then we're gonna put this little heat shield bolt back through, right over here through the heat shield. Oops. This bolt here keeps falling out of my socket, so I'm gonna use this right here. This is the Cook-In nut grip, and hopefully that will help me get it started. Yep. There we go. All right, that's good. All right, and then we can just line up the main battery cable here. Press that all the way on. And this one came with a new washer and a new nut. Just make that snug, don't get too carried away with it. And then this little heat shield connector, you know, I'm trying to slide this back up and it keeps falling because it looks like the little plastic teeth here in the bottom are missing. So this really isn't gonna do much unless we zip tie that up with something. But as of right now, I'm at least happy that it's staying on. This connector is making a good solid engagement. So all we need to do is protect that from the heat somehow. Maybe a zip tie would just melt right off. So I'm gonna see if I can just do a little wire tie or something on here. All right, I don't know how well that looks, but it at least keeps that little heat shield over that connector. That's what we needed. All right, let's reconnect the battery. Okay, that looks good. Battery's connected. Now before we put back the inner fender liner, let's go test the starter and make sure everything works. All right, works great. Now we can put the fender liner back in. Now here on the outside, we do have to tuck it in. Once you get it started here, just kind of wiggle it in. And we're just gonna work our way around. There we go. You just kind of have to follow it around and push, pull, squeeze it as you go, and you'll get it. Once it's lined up, then we can just go through and get all of these started. I just like to get them all started by hand first. All right, and then we just go around and tighten them all up. Okay, and then we can put the wheel back on. Starts great now, sounds great, and this thing's ready to hit the road. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description where you can pick up the replacement starter along with some of the parts and tools used in the video as well. Now, I did do the same starter on a different vehicle, on a GMC Yukon. Same exact engine, same exact starter. This time, by taking off the wheel and getting in from the inner fender liner, I think that was definitely easier to get at. I was really going to be cautious to make sure that I didn't break that signal wire. In this case, this one was already broken, but it still stays on, still clips in place. I will also get a link in the description to a replacement pigtail that you can add on there, because for the most part, those plastic connectors are going to be completely brittle and very likely that they will break. But if you haven't broken yours, just pull back very carefully, just slide it back the direction of the cord, and you should be able to press it in just a little bit after that and pull the thing off. But don't try to push it in and don't try to pull it out before doing that, and you should be good. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.